Welcome to the GAME.minder Report, your weekly source of upcoming gaming news and information for the week of November 27th. I'm Jim.
And I'm Jeremy.
And today,
It's November 27th.
Yes, it is.
Well, November 28th, probably, by the time you're listening to it.
Well, yes. So, did we just do some sort of space-time continuum right now?
We did. We traveled in time, Jim.
Wow.
Whoa.
So, did you do any shopping this weekend?
I did. I shopped online.
Did you? I actually found a deal at a local shop. It was for a camera, but I mean,
Okay.
this is whatever. I don't care, listeners. You listen to me. Screw the games. We're going to talk about Jim.
All right, get a camera.
Yeah, I got a camera at a local shop. I didn't go to any big box.
Good.
And I feel good about it. And I got a free charger with free rechargeable batteries and a memory card for like $4.
Right on.
Yeah. And I really hope my girlfriend doesn't listen to this episode.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, she doesn't listen. She downloads, but she doesn't.
The only
listen.
thing I bought online was something from Apple, which it doesn't really matter if I bought locally or not because it's
Right.
Apple.
It's Apple.
So
It's American, not made in America. It's an American company.
designed in California,
Yes.
built in China.
But the profits go to America. I mean, there's still taxes and stuff. They haven't done the whole, like, make a home office in Sweden so they can get the tax burdens, have they?
Well,
Oh, no. All right. So,
not a political podcast.
okay. But guess what? A lot of people bought games or gaming consoles this weekend.
This is true.
They bought the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Almost 2-1 over the new Wii U. A
Well-
6-year-old console.
Yes, but you have to think that some of that is probably going to be supply constrained. I mean, like the Wii U is brand new, right?
But the Nintendo came out earlier, and I thought we talked about this. If not, but I apologize. But they were adamant about saying that what happened with the Wii would not happen with the Wii U. Like, they doubled their production.
Okay. So they didn't sell out, is what you're saying?
No, they were available. There weren't like lines, or there weren't like 5 available. Like, we can go to the Wii U right now and buy one if wanted.
Interesting.
To. I know that there was like the Penny Arcade people were saying that the Target near them had 75.
Huh. And they didn't sell them out.
Well, I'm sure like maybe they did, but they didn't sell out within 3 minutes of opening the doors.
Right. Well, so I think the number that I saw quoted was that there were 400,000 of the Wii U's sold over the Black Friday.
Yeah, versus the 750,000 of Xbox.
Xbox 360s.
Now, I'm
Okay.
sure that some of them could be people coming of age to get a 360.
Sure.
And then replacements. But I luckily still have my original. I have never had a red ring of
Well,
death.
but you know that the 360 is, I think that it's a marketing win is what it is, because the whole Xbox thing has been going through this whole like 10 years of Xbox Live, like
Right.
big deal thing right now.
But yeah, and there are some good deals. $200, you get a Kinect, a 360, a controller, and a couple games. I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
But
Did you didn't by any chance see any PS3 numbers, did you? Or PS Vita numbers for that matter?
I did not.
Yeah, I couldn't find any either. Which is probably not a good sign.
No, because but I did find something. It doesn't have numbers, but it's well, actually, I do have some numbers here. Nielsen did a little poll,
Yeah.
if you will, and on children's from 6 to 12.
Okay, children's.
Save the children's.
Yep.
Yes. On their wish list for, we'll say holiday wish list, season tidings.
Yeah.
They're wanted the iPad over the Wii U, over the Vita. The Vita was actually getting 14% of were on children's
What
wish
was
list.
the percentage on iPad?
I'm looking at this. It says 39%. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Jesus. Yeah, so 48% wanted the iPad versus only 39% wanting the Wii U.
Right.
Huh. Did they ask about iPad Mini or iPad, or is that not?
Yeah,
really matter?
iPad Mini 36%, iPod Touch 36%,
Huh.
iPhone 33%. So if you lump that all together, what is that, like 9 or yeah?
Well, no, this is I think you could answer more than one.
Right, but okay, so 60% of an Apple product is
Right.
on 60% of kids' wish lists.
In a gaming context.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is what we've been talking about, pretty much for the last year. The Apple sort of backed into this role of being the king of mobile gaming in a lot of ways.
Right, because how easy it is for indie developers to get a game out there. They don't.
Yeah.
I was reading also somewhere, and I'm going off the wall, but who cares?
Go for it.
The developer of Fez,
Right.
he got his game out and had the deal with Xbox Live Arcade.
Right.
But then there was some bugs that he wanted to fix.
We talked about this, I think.
Oh, yeah,
on an
and to
episode.
upload it, it was like $100,000 or something stupid like that.
I think you're overstating it. I think it was like 10,000.
Whatever.
But still, yes. It's one of those things. We hear a lot about this Apple ecosystem being so draconian and a walled garden and whatever. Compared to open source development, compared to console development, it's like a free for all. And so, yes, I think exactly what you're saying. The idea of the indie developer, $99 a year and a really basic sort of approval process, and then you can get on the store. Whereas on a console, a major console specifically, you need to have, like a marketing and a special kind of contract with the consoles maker. A lot of times they want you to go exclusive, so like they give you an incentive. And
you have to have like won an award at an IGN or something like that. You would have to know someone. It's definitely a very
you have to know someone who knows someone.
Yeah,
interesting.
But, yeah, so good for Apple, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, for all the people who keep talking about how Apple, the iPhone's on top now, but not for long. Well,
well, here's the other big thing too, and I personally believe that an Android app is only popular because it was popular first on the iPhone.
I don't know that I would agree with you on that.
I'm my only thing is I'm thinking about is just Angry Birds because it just came out first and then
sure. But I do think, I don't think we've seen it mass market just yet. But this whole Android 4, like, is it Jelly Bean or Ice Cream Sandwich or
Jelly Bean? I think.
Yeah, these newer ones I think are going to be the turning point. Because we've talked about it before. There's tons of Android devices out there, but they're not being used the same way that iOS devices are. When you buy an iPod or you buy an iPhone or you buy an iPad, you're going to use it for those things. You buy an Android phone, it's probably just because that's the phone that came free and you needed a new phone.
Right. And the other thing, too, is that, and this also goes to the difference between, the App Store and the open Google Play, is that a lot of games can get lost because it is so open source. Anything can be put in there.
Sure.
So
I did see, actually, here's an interesting piece of news that was not in here because it wasn't really specifically gaming related, but as long as we're talking about Google Play, just either today or yesterday, Google just raised the bar in terms of reviewing apps.
Oh, good.
So that you actually now, in order to review an app, you can still download an app sort of anonymously, but in order to review it, you have to sign in with your Google Plus account. And what this means is because Google Plus does not really allow anonymity, like you have to sign in as who you are. They're hoping that this will cut down on sort of like either just trolling, and just being like, oh, this game was awful and blah, 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 blah. But actually, since there's now going to be a real person behind it and it's got your name and your picture, that, people will actually want to post quality reviews.
Right.
And I mean, this is obviously has been a huge problem in the App Store because people just, 1 star.
Or 1 star, greatest game ever.
Yeah. But it's really, so I think that this could help, especially weeding out, like you're talking about, there's so much and it's hard to find the good stuff. Being able to see a real person who had to sign in as themselves in order to be the review, you can probably trust that review a little bit more.
Good,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, in other console news this week, a little something popped today.
A Wii thing?
A Wii, tiny little mini.
A Wii, mini Wii.
Tiny little Wii mini.
Wii mini.
So obviously everybody was paying so much attention to the Wii U this week.
Wii U.
But something actually kind of snuck out. I think it actually kind of got accidentally announced. And so as a result, Nintendo just had to sort of push forward, and that is the Wii Mini.
Yeah, apropos to Nintendo's trying to keep alive a dying console. Remember there was the N64 that was the Pikachu N64 that kind of lit up, and then there was the.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, there was a.
I mean, this is not unheard of because I know that the PlayStation had done this with the PS2, like the super slim PS2.
Well, they actually started when the PlayStation 2 came out. They redid the PlayStation, called it the PS1.
Original, yeah, the PS1.
The PS1 is a little tiny. Then they did the PS2 Slim.
Yeah.
To an extent, I guess Xbox has been doing that too with the black, and they've been.
Well, but not really, because they didn't do it with the original Xbox. Like once the Xbox 360
original-
launched,
yeah.
there was no more original Xboxes.
Right.
But this is different. This is,
I see
Wii
what
U
you're
is
saying.
out, and this is the Wii. This is the previous generation, but slightly limited because it does not allow any of the GameCube. So it took out all the GameCube compatibility, and I believe it has no internet access possible.
That I hope not, because then what do people do with all their downloaded games?
Well, those would not be supported either. This is basically it is a purpose-built $99 box that plays Wii games, period. And that is what it's for.
I feel like I wouldn't buy a regular Wii with all the bells and whistles for $100.
And I'm not saying that I would either. But again, if the Wii has something like 1,300 titles. I mean, yes, some of them are shovelware, some of them are crapware, but I do think that if they're hoping to capture, some additional sales in the holiday season for a quick $99 console, I mean, I don't know. I can't be the only one who's walked into like a Walgreens over the last 3 years and seen like the fake knockoff Wiis going for $99. So if they can actually put a real Wii up for $99,
Yeah, I want to check what the heck is the regular Wii cost right now.
Isn't it $149
the black Wii. Oh, that's with Super Mario Brothers. $155, $130. See, I would spend the extra. There's
Well,
bundles.
but my guess is that they're not going to be producing those anymore. They're going to sell through the remaining inventory.
Well, that
of
makes
those,
sense. On
and then this is going to slot in as like the low end. I need to get a Nintendo gaming console, and I want it to be cheap. And then the Wii U is going to be where you go for like the bigger stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense because this particular listing, we'll say the site I'm on is Lamazon. Only has 5 left of just the regular Nintendo Wii. So
Yeah, I'd be shocked if they're still producing them. They're probably just producing these Wii Minis now.
While we're talking about Wii U and Wiis and Nintendos, and I'll have to search for this for you to put up on the show notes, but I guess that the Wii U makes a profit after you buy a game.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Well, yes, I did hear that was they were doing it differently. Nintendo's been famous for always selling their console at a profit, and they're changing that with the Wii U because they're actually going to do what a lot of the other console makers do, which is sell it at a loss, but obviously not that much of a loss.
Not that much, yeah, because it takes one game, and since most of the games out there right now are Nintendo games, so it takes buying one Nintendo game, which I would say 90% of the people do. Well, it does come with Nintendo Land, so maybe not, but enough.
Yeah. Well, I think.
I mean, eventually.
I want to say the original Xbox did not turn a profit until they had sold like 8 or 9 games.
Yeah, and the PlayStation 3 was grossly undersold. They took a while for them to get to.
Well, and a lot of that was also related to the fact that they were putting
Blu-ray.
They put Blu-ray in the console. I mean, even just the console itself was like $5.99 at launch or something ridiculous like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that was at a loss.
Yeah.
I'm just saying because Blu-ray was not cheap. I mean, it only took like 2 or 3 years for it to drop down to like the $50 Blu-ray players. But when they first launched, man, Blu-ray players were no joke.
Plus, and the PlayStation 3 was the best one because it was one of the only ones that you can still update.
It was firmware upgradable,
the firmware, because the firmware wasn't even standardized yet.
And I'll tell you, I like that because my PS3 that I have had since not launch, I bought it maybe
it was like 7 months after
7 or 8 months, but it's an original still.
It's a biggie,
and it was firmware upgradable to 3D Blu-ray.
Nice.
And so I buy Blu-ray 3Ds now, and that's what I watch. I love it on my new projector.
Nice.
And 3D games as well. So, I mean, it was definitely a good investment at the time. I've considered several times getting a slim or a super slim for one reason and one reason alone, which is that you could not do bitstream of True HD. And I have a receiver that'll decode True HD bitstream. I can decode or I can bitstream DTS, but just not the Dolby. So this is a little bit too inside baseball. But anyway,
super first world problems.
Yeah, first world problems. So the last bit of news this week is a little bit of us chasing our own tail. And what is that about, Jim?
It is the brand new version of GameMinder.
Yes, that's right. The new GameMinder. We've got a new. And we've been chattering about this for the last couple weeks, so there's a good chance you've probably already heard about this if you listen to the show. But it's going down this week.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Probably Thursday.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Probably Thursday. So Thursday.
What voice was that?
I don't know. So Thursdays, probably very late, either really late in the night or early in the morning, if you will, on Thursday morning or Friday morning if we're not quite ready. GameMinder will go down. GameMinder.com.
Yes,
We're going to shut it all down, and we're going to move everything over to the new home.
Are we going to have an under construction
Probably
GIF?
not. It probably just will flat out just not work for a couple hours.
All right.
And then it'll come back up again. You'll need to get the new client, which has actually been approved. So
By Apple,
it's
thank
sitting
you.
and waiting on the App Store, waiting for us to flip the switch. And you will then be living in the brave new future of GameMinder.
Yes. Now, for most of you, you won't really see a difference. There'll be some aesthetical differences, and there'll be some other good features. But the big thing is that we totally redid our back end. So all of
Right.
those features that you have been asking for, we can now implement so much.
What is
so
the
much quickly.
most important one to you, Jim?
The most important to me is probably regional release tracking.
Release tracking. That's right. If you are in the UK, in Australia, in any of the other regions around the world, and you have been begging us, like, okay, you've got North American dates, but I want to know when this game is coming out for me, the new version of GameMinder launching this week will support that.
Or if you are just really into Japanese
Yep,
RPGs and you are going to import it,
You want to import them, and they're only coming out in Japan,
Japan?
and we haven't been tracking them up until now.
there
We
you
will
go.
be.
Yes, we will.
Woo!
Yes. Now, be patient because it may take a while for us to build up that database.
Exactly. So a lot of what's going to be happening over the next couple weeks is we're going to be moving all of our existing data into the new system, and then we're actually going to be counting on you. Let us know. That's right, you. Let us know if there's a game that has got a date that's, a lot of games are released worldwide. And they come out on the same day everywhere, and that's bully for them. But there's a lot of games that don't.
Correct.
What was the one I was just reading about this week? Was it Far Cry 3 maybe? Far Cry 3, I believe, was coming out earlier in Europe, UK, and I think they call it the Europe, Middle East, and Africa sort of region. It's maybe just a day or two, but I think it was coming out a little bit early, which is why they were doing the embargo for journalists slightly differently for that game.
Europe gets it on the 29th, and so does Australia and the UK, I guess. But the 4th is when America gets it.
There you go. So that is why so that's the kind of stuff we're going to need you to be looking out for. Let us know. Report those games via the new app and let us know so that we can start adding new regions for them with new dates.
Correct.
And this is probably when we should also mention that you don't set reminders quite the same in the new system.
No, you're following the game. You're not following the console the game is on.
Right. The way that it was done up until now was that you would find the title and then pick the console on which you wanted to track it. But we realized as we were working towards implementing multiple regions, that was going to get unwieldy pretty quickly because you would have to be like, okay, I want to follow this title and I want to follow this console, but I want to follow it in this region.
Right. It would come out that on the back end, they would have one title could potentially have 27 different entries.
Exactly.
Based off of like a game like FIFA. Oh, geez. I don't even want to think about it.
So now what we're going to do is you basically just find the title and you say follow or track, set reminder. And then from within that reminder, you can turn on and off whatever you like. Now, you can set your global region, and then it'll all just be done for you. Or on a per reminder basis, you can say, okay, well, this one I want to track in the UK, and this one I want to track in North America, and this one I want to track for PS3, this one I want to track for PC. So you can do that all on a per reminder basis now.
Right. And then you still will get the correct push.
Exactly. You will still get exactly what you're looking for, exactly what you're hoping for. We're really, really proud of this new system that we've come up with.
Yes.
It's been in the works for more than 6 months, and it's finally going out into the wild. Now, that being said, there's probably going to be a couple bugs we haven't worked out just yet.
Everything comes with a little
Everything
love.
comes with a little bit of bugs. So please do let us know if you come up with anything that seems like it's not working quite right. We are actually already working on the first update to it because we've already determined a couple things that aren't quite the way we were hoping it would be. So just basically sort of let us know. We will work really hard to get it where we're going.
Yeah, it's just that our teenager has some braces. Once the braces gets taken off,
Exactly.
she's got a beautiful smile.
All right. So aside from GameMinder 2.6, let's talk about what's coming out this week. As just mentioned, we got Far Cry 3.
We do.
We've got the Mass Effect Trilogy, Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition.
I can't say that I can't see that name without thinking Balderdash. Don't know why.
Balderdash.
Balderdash.
The Walking Dead. Now you tell me what this is.
This is the collection of the Telltale episodes that were downloadable on PSN or Xbox Live. This is the actually disc of the first 5 episodes
Okay.
that will be for the Xbox and the PlayStation 3.
Got it.
So it's not downloadable, it's the actual physical disc of all 5 games.
Right on.
And I've actually heard that if you've been waiting on The Walking Dead, like, this is the best way to actually experience it.
The whole
versus
thing,
The
yeah,
whole
just
thing right away. It's
chapter
a
to chapter. All right. Sonic the Fighters, which I guess is actually a fighting game with the Sonic characters.
Yeah, it was an old Dreamcast and then PlayStation 1 game. This is basically the HD version of it.
Right on.
So
right on.
For this Xbox Live Arcade.
All right, we've got Brain Age Concentration Training for I believe the 3DS.
Okay.
And then, of course, Jim's favorite, Power Rangers
Super Samurai. Oh yeah.
Right on.
Gonna burn some calories on that game.
You know it. All right, what are you gonna track this weekend, Jim?
Okay, I'm tracking this game only because I just think it's just. I don't know how to explain this. I think anything that has been able to be plugged into a TV has had this game played on it.
Okay.
Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, there you go.
So this is the Wii U version
Okay.
of Wheel of Fortune. Now, I don't know if it's got any fun gameplay. It probably is not. Some people may think it's shovelware. However, it's these type of games that you kind of play more of. A lot of times you play one game and you finished it and that's it. But a Wheel of Fortune...
a game that is essentially a set of rules versus a game that's got like a narrative that you play through once is a different kind of a thing.
Or even a game that's on rails. Yeah, I see that. But Wheel of Fortune, especially now that you can probably download an infinite amount of puzzles, I think from the day video games started, it came out with a Wheel of Fortune thing. And you know what? Sometimes this a Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy is the most fun that you can have in games because it's constant. I mean, some people may say it's a shovelware game, but I really think that I'm not saying that it's the killer title, but I would not be surprised, discounting any bugs, that this would be one of the better sellers for the Wii U. That's just me shooting the breeze.
Interesting choice.
Yeah. How about yourself?
Well, I found this game this week, which I had not heard of before now. I don't know. I think maybe it was a Kickstarter, but it's called Perspective. And the reason why this looked interesting was that it is kind of like Fez in that there's a 3D world, but you manipulate the 3D world in order to facilitate a 2D platforming mechanic.
Now, was this in the California thing that you went to?
It was not.
It wasn't.
I had not heard of it before this week. And like I said, I believe there was a Kickstarter. So, so yeah, that's what I'm going to track this week.
Awesome. Yeah, it was done by the students at DigiPen.
There you go.
Right it's a student-run game.
All right, well, I think that's going to do it for the GameMinder Report this week. To view the show notes for this episode or to follow any of the games mentioned today, don't forget to visit GameMinderReport.com/28.
Sure.
I want to say 28.
Yeah. And to see when the newest games are listed, don't forget to follow GameMinder on Twitter or visit Facebook.com/GameMinder.
And to follow all your favorite upcoming games, don't forget to visit GameMinder.com or download the app for iOS or Android.
And finally, don't forget to buy all your games through the website or app. Every game you pre-order or purchase helps support this show and this service. Signing off for the Game Winner Report, I am Jim.
And I'm Jeremy, reminding you, don't forget to play.